So still with me on the couch here at ZeN TV, Matty, Shane, G and Cal. So earlier in the week, The Guardian highlighted a story that there's to be a new blanket ban on legal highs here in the UK. One such ban is laughing gas, but which other drugs will be affected by the ban? It's your story, Matty, tell us more.
This was the Queen's speech. She alluded to this in the Queen's speech, and there's going to be a bill that they want to pass for a 7-year jail term for anyone who produces or distributes legal highs. Now, my concern with this is that the war on drugs that is not being won on the illegal drugs. I don't know how criminalising these drugs are going to help the situation. I think we're going to criminalise more young people in particular because these ones are very easy to get, and there's internet sites where they can be delivered to your door. So they're very easy to obtain, and then if they carry a criminal sentence as well, I think we're going to be criminalising more young people and also pushing the issue further underground. There's a statistic that in 2009 there was 12 recorded deaths from legal highs, and by 2012 that had jumped up by 97, which is a lot of people, but in comparison to things that are legal, for example alcohol, tobacco, it's a drop in the ocean. So it's what the motives are here in terms of legalising these. And
is this the legal highs for almost self possession or for selling?
The 7-year jail term is for anyone who sells or produces or distributes them. Mm-hmm. So I don't know whether that comes under the whether people just in possession will be criminalised. But for me it's a concern that young people are able to get them so easily. And also there's very little known about them because 2 a week or 2 new legal highs per week are produced in Europe, and they just change the chemical compound. So when they make one illegal, the chemical compound has changed slightly, and then another one's brought out. So we don't know the effect of these drugs, particularly the long-term effects, where with heroin, cocaine, alcohol, that have been around a long time, we don't know what these substances are going to do.
Can I ask you a question, Matty? Why were they called legal highs? Because it's a bit of a contradiction in terms, isn't it, if you're going to make it a blanket ban, and then they were at one stage legalised. How did they become legal?
They're not sold as drugs, so they've got the compound of them has got psychoactive tendencies, effects. So what they've done, the synthetic, so they're trying to mirror the effects that illegal drugs have got. So they're sold as plant food or tranquilizers, and that's where they've got round the ban. I think Meow Meow was one that recently.
Really, the first time.
There was one that was started off as a legal high, and then that was one of the first ones I think that they banned.
But I think the question you're asking as well is they're so easy to obtain, yet they're going to be criminalised for it.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, please.
Sorry, I think there's a massive grey area with what's a legal high and what isn't.
Yeah.
If they gave us a list of saying, right, these are legal highs, then there's a rule book there what we can go by. For me, a legal high is something that's a mind-altering drug.
Yeah.
Right, so it's a stimulant. So that means we're going to go down and shut down every Costa coffee shop that there is in the whole of England, or Starbucks, So
and stop singing.
Where do we stop with a stimulant or a mind-altering drug? Where do we stop and where do we start?
I think it's at the point of taxation.
Yeah. Well, in this bill, caffeine, alcohol and tobacco are all excluded from this bill.
Taxation again. Yeah. It's a common thread there.
It reminds me, I remember seeing on Twitter, somebody was tweeted that whenever there's a war on something, it increases.
Yeah. So
we need a war on jobs.
Yes.
And because you have to understand, you see, the government, they are. I remember back in the day, in the 80s, 82, 83, 84, you'd watch John Craven's News Round, because that was a news program aimed at kids. And I was a kid at the time.
Hello again, and first tonight we go to Poland, where food supplies from Britain are helping make life easier for thousands of people. One group has already sent £500,000.
Right, and what they did, I remember them showing you this new drug that's coming on the scene, far more, I think they said 10 times more addictive than cocaine, and far cheaper. Crack, right? And they're showing you the black community taking crack and whatever. Now you have to remember, whatever you see, monkey do. You see it enough times, it becomes very popular amongst what you do in your life. And I ended up, meeting a lot of people that were from my community that took crack as opposed to cocaine, because cocaine was seen as a very wealthy, rich man's drug.
Yuppie drug.
That's right, whereas crack was just down and out and we're taking it kind of thing. If you watch that, listen to that record, White Lines, it tells you the treatment of two different people, two different types of people. Take cocaine or sell cocaine, and those people who take crack and stuff like that. So the war on is always interesting when you hear them say the war on. Remember, there was the war on terror, and in that period of time they've killed 4 million Muslim people. War on terror, right? Okay. You got there was the war in terms of black people, young black males in the 70s and 80s. We were public enemy number one. And what did it mean? It just meant we were unemployable. And 20 odd years later, we're still unemployable. I got talking to a guy yesterday who said he's got locks and he's been to 50 interviews this year. Very intelligent man, 50 interviews. And he knows his hairstyle has not helped him. 50, 1 year.
And that's not even 6 months.
No. So, the war on will always create problems for the people who need help more.
Then perhaps, Cal, we should have a war on food banks?
Yes. Well,
it's your story, tell me.
Yeah, my story is about a young chap who's 35 years old from France called, if I can pronounce it right, Arash Derambarash.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Guy from France.
I'm not good at speaking foreign language. But he's created a new law after getting 211,000 signatures to make the supermarkets basically utilise what they call waste food in the proper manner, i.e. giving them out to charities. Even if it's not okay for humans to eat, it should go out to animal feed, etc. Or even for creating energy. His approach is we act locally but we think globally, which is the best approach, because now his next mission is now to go to Africa, because Africa, there's so much waste of food among the elite out there. And we all know that the vast majority of Africa is starving. In fact, the vast majority of the world is starving, not just Africa. So we've got a UK petition in England as well for the same thing, and we've reached 115,000 signatures, but the government's not doing anything about it at the moment. We've got the conferences happening via We Are Nudge, highlighting these issues. You're going to involve people like the Trussell Trust, and it's not like it's not evident. This has been going on since the recession of 2008. Or the instigated recession of 2008, it's been on the forefront of topics. That's 7 years ago.
And I think is this something we discussed here in the past about supermarkets who put their food out and they're actually actively told to have bins with locks on?
Yeah, well, Iceland. Sorry to interject, but Iceland actually took 3 people to court.
What, for going for the bins?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, because they class themselves as freegans, but basically they're just going to forage for food. And they took them to court, and the judge looked at the paperwork and he says, "Are you mad for bringing this to court? These people are trying to eat food, and you want to take them to court, or you waste taxpayers' money on these people because they're trying to feed themselves through a court." It's just ridiculous. That's the sort of people in the judicial system we need. Who actually can understand how working class people are functioning and the problems that we have. Now, France has made this thing now where any shop larger than 400 square foot has to get rid of their waste food to what it's not really waste, but that things that's approaching out of date to a local charity. They have to sign a contract with a local charity now in order to reuse that food. So
that's a good thing.
It's a brilliant thing, yeah. And it's actually been added to the school curriculum of how to eat properly, you know, how to utilise food, telling you about, okay, this might have a date that says June the 15th, but it's still valid for 3 days more. The fact is they're only just trying to cover their own backs, but you can generally sniff and smell and touch and feel that if a product's gone out of date.
And I do believe there was a BBC programme recently, very similar to that. It was kind of managing your finances, but managing your finances with food.
Yes.
When to buy, how to buy, what to buy. And all that's very necessary education.
Yeah, I think there's definitely education in everything, and I think it needs to start at school level, because the first 7 years of your life, the primary socialisation of your life, determines how you function later on in your life. So if you're not bought into that, you know, when we were at school, home economics wasn't given to the blokes wouldn't do it anyway. I think it should be something that should be part of the curriculum, because I was fortunate, my sisters did home economics and I grew up with 6 sisters, so I always cooked and made stew, so I can go to the supermarket, buy raw ingredients and cook. Whereas a lot of people, their dependency is on packaged food, and that stuff's full of preservatives, you know, emulsifiers, the whole lot. It's just full of rubbish to stabilise it, to put it on the shelf. I mean, me and my wife, we've just bought a new blender as well, a Vitamix one, just so when we have the kid, we have a baby, we can produce the baby food ourselves, as opposed to buying it from a jar, which again has emulsifiers, preservatives, etc. like that in it. So we're going down that route, you know. But it's all about education. It really is.
If you enjoyed that topic, then take a look at our Twitter page. Stomach This is the campaign happening June 18th.